Yeah, you approach it. It is swirling. It is extremely cold, and you can sort of feel it sapping the energy from you. Are you all stepping through? This is your last chance to say no. A nuke has just detonated. There is this huge cloud, this spiral of cloud that is slowly clearing to reveal a large marble-like black and swirly light grey and dark grey orb of energy, essentially, that is covering Silver Street. And the top mages of Karaki are zooming in on magic carpets and things like that, and as they get close, the magic in those carpets is failing and they are falling out of the sky. Everyone is dying. There are church bells going off, people running in the streets and screaming. The explosion rocked the entire city, and including almost collapsing in the sewer that you lot were in while you were investigating the necromancer. You are now out on the street. You are there with Lisanne. Ruzad, I'm going to say you're there just because it's going to be easier. You're there. You just felt like turning up. And you've just heard this. First of all, the first question I'm going to ask, Eao, this is your city. You also know that it's coming roughly from Silver Street. How do you feel right now?
This is going to sound cold, but this is not Eao City. She feels honestly rather indifferent to what's happening to it.
Okay, fair enough. And what about you, Glarus? Your smith is gone. Your smithy is gone.
Quite likely. Am I certain that is what's just blew up?
It may well be it was your smithy that has blown up. Who knows? But something has blown up in Silver Street and taken out your smithy.
My smithy.
Yeah.
The lion belt I installed has blown up.
So you've all told me that your plans are to first head back to the Church of Morion, hand in the current quest, which is the necromancer you've essentially got strapped to the back of Glarus, and get your money. Basically, get your money before even beginning to have a look at this.
Hey, point 1, you should maybe go see the movie. Point 2, do you remember the yellow book you retrieved from me once?
Vaguely.
I think I left it over there. Could you fetch it?
I'm not doing it again.
Good, because it was meant to joke. But yeah.
It is going to take you about, I'm going to say about half an hour to get there. Because you are in Low Harbour by the docks, and Low Harbour is a long sort of spiraling cliff that you're going to have to climb up. You're essentially going to have to go up through Bastion, and then to get to your destination...
Probably let, get both part clients together first before we hit the church itself.
Well, you are with one of your clients. That's very true. But remember that the Church of Morion want you to hand over the cause.
Yes,
they don't know who, but the necromancer essentially alive.
They could get the payment from the docks before we head over there.
Lisanne is not carrying 2,000 gold pieces on her.
Yes, but Lisanne isn't our only client.
Well, that's true. That is true. If you'd like to go and find Ton Black Cavern, you can do that. He is your other client, representing the dock workers.
Yeah, we probably should, at the very least, grab Ton and or ask him to meet us at the church.
You could probably find him quite easily. He's probably still at that collapsed crane.
Like, our job wasn't to turn the guy into him, it was just to solve the issue, so...
I mean, we've done that. So.
Maybe one of us could just go grab him while the rest take necromancer to the church.
That could work out.
I'm not going to just carry a gagged necromancer around for a few bits. It's no big deal.
While you're all chatting logistics, I will just point out that the screaming is getting louder.
Let's just drop off the necromancer.
Yeah. Glarus, can you go grab Ton and have him meet us at the church?
Is the necromancer on my back? Sure.
Good point.
Lisanne says, I can carry him.
Probably damn well could too.
Okay, so you're off to find Ton, and Lisanne is going to take the necromancer off of you and take the rest of you to her cloister, essentially, which is a sort of minor side church of the Church of Morion. It's part of the Church of Morion. It's sort of a separate facility, though. It's not the main church. It's not the sort of big cathedral that's in the center of the city. There's a place called Alberwell, and it is in the Summer District.
I was actually going to say, hey, Brandon, you want to go somewhere else?
We haven't had a long rest yet, have we?
No.
I don't think there's time for a long rest.
Oh, if Ross was there, I would probably have asked for lesser restoration.
Oh yes, you have the shit rot.
Same.
Oh god, how many shit rots do I have to clear?
2.
Because you
one
weren't
of
there.
them. Yeah, I wasn't there. I was turned up afterwards. I'll heal the shit rot of one of you first, and that's the one I'm going to take away from the summer district because they can't enter it, and I don't want to go to the Church of Morian.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Or more the point, shouldn't go to the Church of Morian.
You probably should not be seen in the Church of Morian. Okay, so we're going to go with Glarus first. You are heading off to find Ton Black Cavern. Black Cavern. Ton Black Cavern is not particularly far away. You know, he's still at the scene of the massive crash where the crane had collapsed onto his people. And he sees you approaching because you are not hard to pick out in a crowd, let's put it that way. And he looks up and he goes, I see you got it sorted then.
Indeed. That big pillar, not our job, not our work. We did not do that one. But we did find the culprit.
Yeah, I know.
You know? You have confirmation? Did
My
someone
men are
die?
dying and not disappearing, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that checks out.
We'll handle payment later. Today is not the day.
Fair enough.
Are you done?
See you another day then. Yes.
Good, get out of my
And
sight.
good. Yeah, I was thinking.
Ton does not give a shit. You will get your money though, but yeah, he's busy. Okay, so we go to the summer district. Only Eao and Lisan are heading at this point. Grounded, are you coming along?
Wearing. Okay, so in my inventory, I've got traveller's clothes, which I'm going to assume it includes a cloak. So I'm just sort of going in with like the whole mysterious robes and everything.
Okay. Jutting proudly from its perch over the cliff's edge, because it's right on the edge. It's sort of got a very good view of the really long bridge between Karaki and Garaki. On any other day, the white marble slabs that give Aberwell its name would be blinding in the sunlight, but there is no sun piercing through what is essentially like a nuclear winter cloud over your heads at the moment. The walls are 50 feet high, they are sheer, and they are polished marble. There's not even so much as a crack in them. The compound houses the most devout followers of Morian, and is Lisan's home. She sort of pushes you to the side and says, look, let me handle this, okay? Let me handle this. Essentially puts the necromancer down and goes, I'll just go talk to them. I'll be right back. I'll just go talk to them. There's a bit of a tremor in her voice, and her gait falters a little as she's heading over there. But nevertheless, she raises her hood, proceeds to the heavy whitewood gates, rings a sonorous peal from a heavy bell tucked in a little alcove in the side. A flat panel in the door slides open, and a pair of dark, beady eyes swivel quickly around, looking at all of you and looking straight at Lisan, and says with a single word, "Oh!" And she says, "It's me, Jacques. Business? We completed the contract in Low Harbour. We'd like to see the abbess immediately." And the beady eyes sort of narrow a little bit, and they are reflective black, and you can see them surrounded by the black feathers on his face, and they narrow, and he goes, "Why?" And she goes, "Didn't you hear the explosion? Something's happened. Busy! Come on, Jacques, this is important. Busy! Will you let me back in at least?" And the panel slides shut, and a moment later the doors swing open about 2 feet, and a small Kenku man dressed in frayed greying robes hobbles through and gestures with a tattered wing at her. "You! Only!" And she goes, "But I've got to bring the You!" And she sort of looks at you, going, "Help?"
I'm going to approach the Kenku.
Business?
Yes, I'm Low Marshal Eao Dunwich.
Who?
With the city, the Low Marshal of the city.
Why?
I'm here due to a contract that I have with this church. I'm here to turn in said contract. I also have business with the church right now regarding our current crisis. I do need to speak to whoever's in charge.
Points a wing at Lisan and says, "Only!"
Would you at the very least inform them we're here?
Busy! Lisan sort of buries her head and just goes, "Jacques, please." And he makes this sort of clicking noise like a pebble being hit against a larger stone.
I do want to remind you that my job as the Low Marshal is the protection of the city, and you right now are currently in the way of that. Follower of Morian or not.
He hops backwards, looking a little bit frightened, a little bit worried anyway. Gestures again at Lisa and says, "You only!" gestures back at the compound and says, "Busy! You only! Busy!"
Lisanne, it looks like you're going to have to liaison for us.
Lisanne nods and goes, Okay. Jacques, we've got to bring a necromancer in. And he goes, "Busy? Who? Yeah, for the job. Yeah. But we had to find him, and we said we'd pay them if we. And he goes, money? Yeah, money. And but Jacques, we've got to take the necromancer in." He's like, "Who?" And she just starts to hang her head. Is like, "Jacques, please just help me out here. Did you not hear the explosion? Why? I don't know why the explosion, Jacques. I can't find out unless we get the necromancer in." And he sort of looks back at the necromancer who's essentially piled against an alleyway and looks at Lisa and says, "You only." And she turns to you and says, "I can take him in there and get you your money, but I don't think he's going to let you in."
Would it be possible for you to make contact with whoever's in charge for us? Perhaps she will let us in?
I can try. The abbess is not... She's not a fan of me, but I'll try.
Just let her know that the low marshal wishes to speak with her about the current crisis.
Okay, I'll do my best. And she heads back and picks up the necromancer, slings him over her shoulder, and heads back to Jack and says, "All right, Jack, close the door behind me, I guess." And she looks back at you just for a second and says, "There's a chance I might not be let out, so thank you. But hopefully see you soon. Good luck in the...
And
whatever.
Whenever you become a proper cleric, there's always room at the guild for you."
That might be nice. And the door closes behind her, and you can hear sort of general squawking from behind the doors. And Jack, I'm telling you, we were told to do this. But yeah, just a constant bickering heading off from there, leaving you alone at the moment. I can tell you, you're probably not going to get an interview with the abbess right now, but you can wait there if you'd like.
I'm going to give it 10 minutes.
Okay.
To see if something happens.
Okay.
Is it long enough for me to catch up?
That's probably long enough for you to catch up, as you didn't end up talking... Well, Ton Blackhaven does not talk for long, so that's probably given you enough time to catch up by now. And you would have known where they were heading. So you'll both receive your money, but it's apparently not coming right now. Mind you, a nuke has just gone off.
I will knock on the door when I get there.
Please don't. Oh, there you go.
The slit opens up, and there's Jack goes, "Who?"
Me, Glarus. Have you met?
Who?
Let me in.
Why?
I have business with you.
Business?
Yes.
Money?
No.
He shuts the smile on you.
I try knocking on the door.
And you
At this point, we just harass.
Who? And it's a little bit angrier than before.
Hey, I'm grand of your Wark.
Who?
You know the Glarus at all?
Why?
Look, we need a word.
Busy.
Well, we're all busy, but...
Busy.
I mean, come on. Do you know anyone from Glarus?
Can I have the bundle, please?
I don't think you'd have succeeded very well with your connections in Glarus, given that you come from...
Yeah.
The families that the Kenku don't like because they've been dropping rocks on you. Or you've been dropping rocks on them, more accurately, for centuries.
I only dropped a few of them personally.
You've just been throwing them. Everyone else has just not been taking care of the rocks and they're crumbling, but you've just been lobbing them. Okay, so about 10 minutes pass, and yeah, what's the plan?
I will repeat, Eao, can I have the bundle?
Eao is going to knock on the door.
Slit opens again, and you get, "You!
I have a message.
Busy!"
Which is why I need you to leave a message. And then we will leave you alone. Wouldn't you like that?
Yes.
I need you to tell Lisanne or whoever needs to be told that the low marshal has business elsewhere given the current crisis, and I would like to meet again at another time to discuss our finished business. Just pass that along to whoever needs it.
But he nods and says yes, and closes the sliding door again.
Are you just gonna keep the corpse in your hand?
What corpse?
The bundle.
I don't like you saying that while chewing. That's a worrying thought.
I don't know what you're talking about. We have business elsewhere.
All right. So if you are heading from the summer district here.
I am going to grab Eao by the neck. Are you seriously keeping the child in your hat?
I'm going to move his hand off of my neck.
I will squeeze if you try that.
Listen,
I could snap your neck right now. Give them the child.
give who the child? Nobody will see us.
Then we'll make them see us. Or just drop it by the door. You don't keep a child in your bloody hat for longer than we need to.
It's perfectly preserved, and I will hand it over once our business is settled.
I throw her away. I just discard Eao.
I catch her.
I mean, you are right by a cliff. Be careful. Okay, interesting. Are we heading over to Silver Street? And if you are heading over to Silver Street, are you making any preparations before you go?
Do we all know what's actually going on? Or
all you've seen so far is that mages have been having a bit of trouble over there. You've seen the magic carpets flying across and falling out the sky as they get close. You can infer some stuff from there, perhaps. If you would like to make an investigation check, for example, you can have a think and put the clues together and see if you can work out what it is. Eao will know a little bit more, on average, and can possibly reveal that.
I will at least try making an investigation check, considering I headed off there before they did.
What were you about to say, Eao?
Sorry, I was going to say that I don't think we really have the time to be doing any other real preparations right now. The longer we wait to get over there, the worse it's going to be for us.
Okay. Ruzad, roll me investigation, and I will let you
20.
know. 20, very nice. Okay, so you know that you are heading towards a large anti-magic zone.
Ah, so my teeth are bleeding now.
Possibly a case that some of your teeth have fallen out, and may continue to do so.
Oh, that's strong.
It's possibly the strongest anti-magic zone that's ever existed in this plane, and it would presumably be wise not to take any magical items.
It would be presumably wise for me not to go there if I want to keep my teeth.
There's that as well, but you can just restoration some teeth back. They'll be fine.
It's just teeth.
Okay, so if you're all heading there straight away, it's going to take another probably 20 minutes to get.
Well, if no one wants this anti-magic zone, I will probably not bring my ring.
Okay, you're going to leave your
If
ring.
I want to stop by the guild hall or somewhere else.
yeah, can I just stop by my rented room and leave my boots, my leather armor, and all my health potions there?
Yeah, you can leave all your magic stuff behind. That's going to take probably another half hour. So you're going to be arriving in about an hour at Silver Street.
Okay.
In that case, I'm probably going to empty most of my hat into my travel pack and just leave the hat behind with grounded stuff.
If we're all still moving in a group, I'm going to leave my things for grounded stuff as well.
Okay, so as you approach, dust and smoke starts to choke the air, and you can hear men and women screaming over each other, trying to make themselves heard to survivors in the rubble. Groups of locals have coalesced into bucket chains and digging squads, and several guard members are leading a shaky rescue attempt on some collapsed masonry. In a clearing before a small flock of citizens, a silver-streaked tabaxi man stands on a soapbox bellowing about the low marshal. And this, friends, is why our new so-called marshal cannot be trusted, and stuff like that. Before you can approach, a figure peels from the shadows. She's wearing a loose tweed jacket and flat cap. You can see from her glowing fiery eyes, which are not typical to all tieflings, but some do have them, that she is a tiefling. She nods at you, Eao, and says, "Hello, Marshal. Might I have a minute to ask you a few questions?" and gestures down a side alley.
Okay, but only if it's quick. I do have work here.
She pulls you down the side alley and draws a leather-bound notebook from her breast pocket, a small quill, and a bottle of ink just big enough to hold a teaspoon. She mutters an incantation. A shimmering, faintly visible green hand appears in the air to hold her ink pot, which she dips her quill in. The name's Belden Potts. I've been dispatched to gather the initial facts about this, and she waved her hand, incident, and your role in it before an inquiry is opened. Your candor and completeness will be appreciated. Any attempts at deception will be noted.
Of course. What questions might you have for me?
Well, let's start with the obvious one. It's been over an hour
to
since the explosion. What took you so long to get here?
It is a very large city.
And where were you when the explosion occurred?
We were at the Low Harbor dealing with a necromancer issue. I'm not sure if you know, but there were corpses disappearing from the Low Harbor. Me and my guild were sent to investigate. During the time of the explosion, yes. During the time of the explosion, we were confronting the culprit below the city streets. Thankfully, the culprit has been caught and has been turned in to the Church of Morian.
Did you know this could happen?
I did not. No, I did not.
Did you know of anything suspicious occurring on Silver Street?
There may have been some notes. Ever since the passing of our last low marshal, I've been digging through thousands and thousands of his notes and papers. Something might have come up, but nothing that would have caught my eye.
Silver Street's reported problems before. It was even in the paper. Do you read the papers?
I do not, no.
Do you not think it worth your time?
Generally, the papers tend to be filled with no offense to you. I'm not particularly familiar with your work, but less than important news. A lot of it seems more trying to get people to read than actually reporting on the facts.
And why were measures not in place to prevent this from happening?
That is above my station. For that you would have
there
to speak
are
to
not
the
many
High Marshal
stations
herself.
above yours, and the High Marshal is, with all due respect, Low Marshal, that is your job.
My job is to do the day-to-day managing of various military goals while doing what the High Marshal tells me to.
We'll agree to disagree on that one.
Say this is under the High Marshal's jurisdiction, not mine.
Inland protection
I'm
of the
sorry?
realm falls under the jurisdiction of the Low Marshal. Would the nation be better protected under a different one?
Would that not also be the High Marshal's job?
And my final question, I understand that, as you say, you are new to the job, but with all due respect, I also understand it is your actions that meant we lost our last one.
Our last Low Marshal was a man attempting to force our nation and Glarus into war. With the help and permission from other officials within the city, we helped to attempt to detain our previous Low Marshal for his treason.
Thank you very much for your time. And she smashes the ink bottle on the ground and walks out of the alleyway, heads towards the tabaxi at the box, and gestures at him, and he stops shouting about you, gets off the soapbox and goes to talk to her.
This tabaxi, would he happen to be someone I'm running against? Would I be able to tell?
Yes, I think you'd probably recognize Amos Davis Dupree, the tabaxi who you know is made up for their lack of military experience by being the loudest shouter in the room.
Now I go and eavesdrop on their
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, you can do that. Roll me stealth, please.
That is a 9.
With a 9, you are able to get in pretty close and hear a few things, such as a question of, so if you're the new Low Marshal, what can you do for the city? And then they immediately look at you and go, do you mind? Just sidle out. Okay, so what you can also see, you're now close enough to see this huge swirling marble-like sphere that's encompassing Silver Street. It is phenomenally huge. It is taller than any building in Karaki, and it is a perfect sphere with clouds of dark energy wisping off of it occasionally, constantly swirling around it like a hurricane. You're close enough now to feel the cold that is radiating off of it. It is pretty intense in its chill, and not enough to cause any exhaustion or anything like that, but it's pretty intensely cold from where you are. And as you're looking at it, what little sunlight remains sort of lenses into it, slightly warps a little around it, as if you're looking at the side of a mirror at an angle. What would you like to do?
Question: is that hag still floating around my head?
Yes.
Okay. In that case, can I make eye contact with the hag and then just carefully insert my head into the area and see what happens?
Okay. It's a bit of a walk to get there, because you're still sort of at the safe exclusion zone of it, basically, which is as close as Amos will get, for example. As a politician, he's not going to get into the thick of things. That's for people he pays. So as you approach, the guards start coming over to you and go, "Hey, whoa. What are you doing? What do you think you're doing? You can't go in there. It's dangerous."
I'm going to approach behind Grounded and go, we're here on business.
Are you currently looking like your usual Low Marshal self?
Yes.
Okay, well, in that case, they'll be like, well, all right, you're the Low Marshal. This is literally your job. They're going to step aside and let you through. That's going to be absolutely fine with them.
As one of them steps aside, I'm going to ask about how big is this thing?
Appears to be about a mile across. from what we can see.
Approximately half a mile high at the moment.
Yeah, mile across, half a mile high. It's pretty much a perfect hemisphere.
And I assume you already have people attempting to stop anyone from approaching? Not only here, but from other directions as well?
Yeah, we've set up a full curtain. Very few people are trying to get in. But it's using up a lot of our resources as well. We are spread thin, just keeping people from getting too close, from anything from coming out, and that's mostly our job. We can't rescue too many people.
Have things already come out?
Not yet, but we never know. This could be like the library.
Is there anyone else here? The High or Low Warden, the High Marshal herself? Anyone else with power?
The High Warden's on the opposite side. Well, they've set up a triage tent of sorts where we're just feeding them reports and they're trying to space us around the city. Otherwise, we've not seen anyone else.
Okay. How are you getting that information to the High Warden? Are you just using couriers or using sending stones?
Runners. Yeah, runners.
Okay. I thank you for your time.
No problem.
I'm actually going to recommend to the group that we go see the High Warden.
Okay. You can do
She's
that.
the one who's obviously taking charge of this situation.
Yeah.
Can I stick my head in first?
I'm not going to stop you from doing anything at all. You stick your head in, everything goes freezing cold and pitch black. Suddenly silence. There's nothing in your head anymore, apart from you, which is unusual to you. You're not actually used to that. It's been months since it's just been you in your own head. There's no strands of ghosts at all. There's nothing. And the hag is gone as well.
Okay, I pull it back out then.
You pull back out. You feel an intense wave of cold all over you, and it shivers you to your core and saps you of your energy. Mark down that you have 1 level of exhaustion. The ghosts are back, as suddenly you can hear an extremely excitable leeches!
Yes.
But the hag is gone. Seems you have full control over your proficiency again.
That's good. I was not comfortable with that hag around me.
How do I know it's gone?
Yeah, if you're heading off to see the High Warden, who is around the other side, that's going to take you about probably to circumnavigate it without going through. She's technically only like a mile away, but it's a much longer walk around, so it's going to take about half an hour to get there. And you can see this. It's a square. It's the sort of place where you might have a public hanging or two. Bit of fun. But they've set up a tent, and it's one of those. It looks weirdly out of place here because you're still in the northern east corner of Silver Street. So it's artisans, it's red brick buildings, and then in the middle of this square is the kind of tent you'd expect to see on a battlefield. And inside, with a table, leaning over it, looking at everything, is the High Warden, and she's scrutinizing hundreds of reams of paper. A lot of them are plans. She's trying to work out, various bits of information, tying them all together. You can hear them discussing things like census counts and that sort of thing. They're trying to work out. You get the feeling eventually that they're trying to work out how many people have potentially just died and how many people are potentially savable in there, and whether they're essentially trying to weigh up whether a rescue effort is worth the risk at this point. And she's having extremely loud, very, very fast-paced arguments with hundreds of people who are coming in and out of the tent constantly with extra information and being sent running again to go and communicate with someone else. She sees you and she looks up, and this is the first time you've met, obviously, because for the most part she spends her time in politics, in Parliament. And she goes, Dunwich, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Is there any?
Come on in, you're the first one to arrive.
I think it's because we were the closest, or we're one of the few that actually care.
Probably. I haven't seen the Mercer at all, and we could do with some money right now. Okay, what information have you got for me?
Sadly, not much. We approached from the other side, and shortly after it happened.
All right.
But we haven't seen much.
Let me tell you what I know. No one who goes in there comes out alive. I don't know if there's something in there or if it's just passing through. The barrier is killing people, but not a single person has come back from that barrier alive.
Probably stuck her head through.
And you what? And you're alive. What did you see?
when I say nothing, I don't mean in the philosophical sense. I mean, there was literally nothing there. Nothing.
And yet you survived. Is there something unusual about
Well, it
you?
was kind of quite a few things, but I don't think there's anything magical about me.
Okay, well, magic doesn't tend to work anyway. Right, well, okay. Well, that's good. No, this is good. Okay, we know that you survived the crossing through the border. We just know that something else then has been killing my men.
That's a worrying thought.
When I say it out loud, yes. But it means that at the very least, we can, if we can deal with what's in there, send in a rescue effort and save whoever's in there. How do you feel about a job?
I mean, a job's as good as any, but we just came off a rather hard fight ourselves. We're not exactly in the best shape to be running into a giant sphere of death? Question mark?
Well,
I wonder if you survived because you have shit rot.
No. We were in the sewers. It's a long story.
We're definitely still well out of the sphere, so I can actually cast spells, correct?
yes, you're currently in a place where you can cast spells.
I'll burn two slots to just help both of you.
Okay. You're both cured of shit rot. Your constitution scores are improved by 2 again, and you don't have disadvantage on it, I think was what I'd said. All right. Well, she looks at you. I'm sorry, if you've got nothing else, I don't have time. If you can go in there and get me more information, that'll be great, and I will reward you as soon as I can find and hang the High Mercer. But until then, I don't have any money to give you. I can't promise anything at all, but I need information.
If you can provide us with some immediate quick healing right now, I think at the very least, I'd be more than happy to go in and search.
She looks at you for a second and goes, fine, deal, can do that, and she snaps a finger and a triage team approaches and goes, right, deal with all of them, get them back up, get them ready, and give them whatever you can. And the triage team are essentially clerics. They're all running in, and they all cast sufficient healing to get every single one of you back to whatever your hit point maximums are. You are all back to max HP. You do not have any spell slot features or anything like that recovered. It's not a long rest, but you have your health back to maximum.
And you haven't had a short one either.
You haven't had a short one either, no.
I will say this job is very much optional. If anyone wishes to back out, now's your chance.
I've never taken a look inside a sphere like this before. Might as well.
Well, you all had your chance. No more backing out. Let's go.
Ground has already been in once. She's like the person who jumps into the swimming pool and says, come on, it's fine, and you step in and it's freezing. But
This breaking.
There's a refreshing breeze in there.
just fine. It's fine. All right, so you're again near the surface. You can enter from this end. It's just literally walk down a street, and you approach it. It is swirling. It is extremely cold, and you can sort of feel it sapping the energy from you. Are you all stepping through? This is your last chance to say no.
No.
Wait, I've got an idea.
You're running through. Okay. Mark down inspiration, please.